Sumating po ang biyaya, awa, habag, pagpapala mula kay YAHAWAH. Ang ating bumpaksa ay tungkol sa death penalty. Ano nga po ba ang sinasabi ng kasulatan tungkol sa death penalty? At tingnan natin ang iba't ibang opinion regarding sa death penalty. Ito po ba ay makatao? O ilan lamang po ang makikinabang kung sakasakali na ito ay maisabatas? Ano po? Yung po bang mahirap, nakakasiguro po ba na sila ay mayroong due process? Pag-aralan po natin ang death penalty. Sa ating pong paksang ito, tingnan po natin ang iba't ibang sektor na naniniwala na hindi dapat ang death penalty.
I have several arguments for keeping the death penalty. The first one is about deterrence. They assume that because you have the death penalty, people will be less likely to commit crimes. But there are many studies all over the world who have shown that there is no proof that the death penalty is a greater deterrent. The crime happened in a moment of passion, and so there is no thinking forward. There's also many studies on crime rates in countries that still have the death penalty and countries that have abolished the death penalty. And you can see that there is really no link. In Asia, for example, Hong Kong and Singapore have very similar crime rates. But in Hong Kong, there is no death penalty, and in Singapore, there is death penalty, which is actively used. A safe society is not linked to the death.
Drug mules. The kingpins and bosses never get caught.
The people who are most likely to be executed are generally from the lowest socio-economic background. The poorer you are, the more likely you become a victim of the system, the more likely you are convicted, the more likely you are hanged. That itself is unfair.
Sentenced to death are not the worst criminals. It's mostly linked to access to justice. And most people who don't have many resources, they can incriminate themselves during the pretrial detention. They are more likely to sign coerced confessions. Then they will be provided with a legal aid lawyer who very often doesn't have the experience or the time and the money to properly defend. There's also the issue of interpretation during the trial because the language of the court is not their own.
5.1 of our Federal Constitution guarantees the right to life and liberty to every person. So that guarantee means that you cannot impose a punishment that is cruel, arbitrary. Capital punishment certainly falls into that. I think that sentence prisoners are kept humanely. They are generally confined to their cells 23 hours a day. So it is an immensely cruel system. Many people survive like this for decades. Some say it's hell on earth. It's really wrong to say that if you remove capital punishment or death penalty, justice is not served. Of course, justice is served. The offender will still be arrested and tried. He will still be sentenced, and if it's a serious crime, it will be for a very, very long time. That is justice for those families or those who are victims of serious crime. Society now thinks that the best way to stop crime is by inflicting violence. Just because we want to be safe, we think it's okay to impose capital punishment, caning, etc. Are we setting the right moral example for all children? Are we, new evidence may come up 10 years after conviction. If you have already hanged him, what do? A posthumous exoneration? And this has happened before, as we know from the famous Jean Sinapa murder trial in the 80s. The accused was already on death row. He may have been hanged when at the last minute, as if in a movie, one of the witnesses came forth and said he had perjured himself at trial. And because of that, that accused person, Kategesu, was released from certain death. Penalty actually is not cheaper than life imprisonment. The legal process naturally takes time. And here you're dealing with the life of a person. Therefore, all possibilities have to be exhausted. But in any event, we're dealing with something that is incalculable. The state cannot give life. What right has it to take any? To bring it down to a question of dollars and cents is absolute vulgarity.
In many ways, we should always be dealing with criminals in a humane way. When a criminal is sentenced, you have to give them a chance of rehabilitation.
A certain level of recidivism among prisoners who are released. But the best way to deal with that is to ensure that during their time in prison, they are given the opportunity to learn new skills, particularly vocational skills, on the question of whether there is rehabilitation programs for prisoners. Well, technically there are supposed to be. My experience has been, and I think many other lawyers who work in this area, is that there is a lack of seriousness on the part of the Home Ministry and prison authorities also in trying to rehabilitate prisoners. That should become a priority.
Kung ngayon naman po natin ang kasulatan, tayo po ay nasa bagong tipan. Ang bagong tipan po ay sabi doon sa pangalawang Korinto 3:6, for the letter kills, but the spirit gives life. Siya daw po yung nagbibigay ng buhay. So pag tinignan natin yung Romans 13:1 na ginagamit nila, papapansin po ninyo dito, ang bawat kaluluwa ay pasakop sa matataas na kapangyarihan sapagkat walang kapangyarihan na hindi mula sa Diyos. At ang mga kapangyarihan ay hinirang ng Diyos. Ang tanong lamang po natin dito, yung po bang mga magpapasa ng death penalty ay napasasakop po ba sa Diyos? Kasi sabi ho dyan, ang bawat kaluluwa, kasama po dyan ang Pangulo, Senador, Vice President, Congressman, sa lahat ng kaluluwa, pasakop sa matataas na kapangyarihan. Sino po ba yung makapangyarihan yon? Walang iba kundi yung Diyos. Nung sinabi nyo, tayo po ay nasa bagong tipan, ibig sabihin lamang po, yun daw espiritu nagbibigay ng buhay, hindi para pumatay. Ano po? Yan po ang sinasabi ng kasulatan. Kaya nga kung ikaw ay merong Diyos, hindi mo na naisin na magkaroon ng death penalty sapagkat yan ay uri ng laman. Ano po? Yan ay nasa laman kapag ikaw ay pumasok dyan sa pagpatay. Ano? At napakarami, hindi po natin masisiguro na yung mga ilalagay dyan sa death penalty ay talagang nagkasala. So muli po, maraming pong salamat. Sumaatin po ang biyaya, awa habag, pagpapala mula kay YAHAWAH. Maraming pong salamat.